Let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly from the Minnesota Vikings preseason game against the Arizona Cardinals. I want to start out with the good, though. The good was everybody that tapped in with me during the live stream, man. It was fun. I appreciate y'all patience, man. Listen, I was building the plane while we were in the air, but we had a good time, man. There was a bunch of people in the building showing love, showing support, and I promise you it will get better as time goes. But, hey, man, can't complain, man. I had a great time watching the game with you guys. Now, we saw a lot of good out of Jalen Mahomes Hall. Jalen Mahomes Hall showed us some stuff, man. He did. Now, did he show us that he can be the quarterback of the future and run this football team to a Super Bowl? No, he didn't, right? But he also did show some potential there, man. Give us some optimism, right? And that's all we can ask for a guy like Jalen Mahomes Hall. Like, we didn't draft him expecting him to be the next Patrick Mahomes in reality, right? We drafted him to say, hey, take a shot on him. Can he challenge Kirk Cousins? Can he be Kirk's successor? And as of right now, I got to say, I still am not there yet, but I do believe that he is a good football player and he could be a backup on this football team. Like, he could be a backup on a bunch of teams in the NFL, man. He has that moxie about him. I like how he was looking downfield when he was getting out of the pocket on today's game, right? Like, he wasn't just running out of the pocket and making his mind up that, okay, I'm going to run and see how far I can get. He was actually scrambling out of the pocket, but he was also keeping his eyes downfield to see if there were open wide receivers down there. And I'm going to tell you right now, man, his pocket awareness today looked way different than it did in the first two games, and I give him an A grade for that, man. That was good, okay? I like that. All right, another guy, man, I'm going to tell you right now, man, like Jalen Williams, undrafted free agent, man. Just again, man, I want to give a shout out to Kwesi for his undrafted free agent scouting, man. Like, listen, we got some dogs in the building that are undrafted free agents. Just think about it. Luigi Villain that made a big play today. You got Jalen Williams, who I feel like probably was the star on the defense. If you look at his game in totality, like, he was running around the field, man, he was laying the hat. I mean, this guy was balling today, right? And he got an interception in the first preseason game, so he showed that he can play the ball, right? I like him, man. I think that's going to be one of the tougher decisions is what cornerbacks and DBs are you taking to the 53-man roster with you? Which ones are you putting on the practice squad? I know he's making either one. He's definitely, if he doesn't make the 53 due to the amount of players we have, I do believe he's definitely going to be a practice squad player where we'll wind up bringing him up throughout the season if an injury happens or something like that. It has to happen because that kid is a baller, man. I'm going to tell you right now, number 38, man, the new 38 special, right? We used to call Harrison Hand that. He's the new 38 special, man. Every time we get a guy that wears number 38, I always feel like he's ready to play, and yet we never get a chance to see him play during the game and actually hold the spot. I do believe that he eventually should deserve a spot, man. I think he's better than Andrew Booth Jr., but, you know, I was on One Bar in Lupagus after the game, and they asked me that question, like, would you release Andrew Booth Jr.? My opinion, yes. I do believe Williams is a better football player than Andrew Booth Jr. at this moment, right? But Kwesi is going to take pride in his draft picks. It's not going to happen, okay? Now, that was the good. I mean, there was a couple more goods, you feel me? Like, I feel like there was a point in time in the game as we were watching it that the defense was flying around, especially that first half. They were flying around, couple crucial stops, couple crucial stands. I like it. You know, the defense was moving around, but then there was times where they were getting gashed again. The run game, can't stop it. Defensive line getting pushed out of the way with no problem whatsoever. I mean, just literally, man, gaps were crazy, man. These running backs were running through whole size of a school bus, and I don't get that. That's something we have to fix, man. The ugly is just still, again, the offensive line. Okay, we know this as Vikings fans. We know this. The offensive line needs to be fixed, man. It needs help, and it needs help bad. Okay, I am definitely banking on our starters being really, 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 really good. Because if we get an injury on that offensive line, it's going to get really, 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 really ugly. It really is, man. It's going to be a nightmare for the Minnesota Vikings if we can't fix that problem. And you got Kwesi here that keeps bringing in DBs like that. Safety we brought in from the Rams. I mean, this guy, I mean, seriously, man. I seen him whiff on a couple tackles today. One play, he just literally just didn't even want to he just didn't even want to make the tackle. Like, he kind of just let up on the tackle, like not going 100%. Like, why are we bringing in these guys that you know for a fact they're not going to make the squad, bro. Like, they're not. But yet you could have brought in some offensive guards that could have been competing today and seeing if they can actually block halfway decent. You know, this was an opportunity today for us as fans and for you to see that. But you know what, man? We're not the GMs or the coaches. We don't understand it as much as they do, I guess. So, hey, we just got to sit back and be fanatics like we are. But, you know what I'm saying? All in all, other than the fact that we lost by 1 point, and I called it on the live, if y'all go back and watch it, I said, listen, the Vikings will find a way to lose this game. All right, this is one of those games where it's way harder to lose it than it is to win it, but yet the Vikings will pull it off. And sure enough, they did. We lost by 1 point. To a team that everybody knows is going for the #1 draft pick. Like, literally, our second strings should be able to beat their starters. That should be the gap between these two organizations, but yet it's not. They still went out there and outplayed us. So all this hype about joint practice and the Vikings are balling on these guys and making these guys look foolish, it never shows in the game. It never shows, man. We've seen it. Not only did we see it 3 times in a row this year, we've seen it 10 times in a row. If you go back to all the games we've lost in the preseason. Now, I know people, preseason doesn't matter and this, that, and the third. It does. It shows us that we don't have any depth on this team. That's what it shows us. So it does matter. All right? It does, because injuries is part of the game. And if we have an injury, which we know we're going to have, it's inevitable, it's going to be bad, man. Next man up is not going to be, the gap between the next man up on our roster is very, very long, boy. It's wide. All right? The gap is wide, man. Know what I'm saying? But, hey, I enjoyed watching the Vikings today, man. I always love it. Whenever we can watch some Vikings football, I can't complain. I'd rather had get the win, but now it's over with, all right? It's over with. Preseason's over. Shout out to the Cardinals for getting the dub. I'm going to tell you, preseason's over. Next time y'all see me, we going to be in Minnesota. We going to be in Minnesota in the building watching the Vikings take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's see what these first strings do. It's time to really get to business now. Jalen Mahomes, man, shout out to you, man. I don't care what the people say about you. I think you got potential there. I don't think that you're a starter yet, you know, and the sad part is we probably won't see you play again for a whole another year in next year's preseason. But you know what? It was great watching you this preseason, although I wish you could have played like you played today in 3 games, but it is what it is, man. Take the good with the bad, with the ugly. Appreciate y'all that was tapping in with me today, man. I'll holler at y'all tonight. See ya.
Yeah, smooth summer, who running? I hear them talking, but they ain't gon' do nothing. Celebration, I might have a toast with you. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling great, I'm terrific. We ain't taking no losses, we winning. Undefeated, check the percentage.